If you are a computer science student that wants to get an internship, yes, you need a LinkedIn profile. You are lucky though, because in this video, I'll show you how to create a nice one. I'm going to tell you the sections to include, how to get more connections, and I'll provide a free checklist so that it's easier for you to apply these tips. But before we get started, let me tell you why you need a good LinkedIn profile. There are many reasons, but these are my top 3. When you apply to internships and jobs, companies check your LinkedIn profile and you want to cause a good impression on them and not raise any red flags. The second reason is that when you have an optimized LinkedIn profile, companies come to you instead of you going to them. And the third reason is that it's easier to make connections when you have a good LinkedIn profile. For example, like say that you want to get into a specific company, you can reach out to the recruiter, to a hiring manager, to a regular employee, and the first thing that they are going to check is your LinkedIn profile to see who they are talking to and if you qualify for the position that you're reaching out about. Okay, let's get started. So I'm going to be using this checklist to keep myself on track. And as you can see, the first thing is having a professional profile photo. It doesn't need to be in a suit. You can just Google casual business attire, and the same apply to women and men. The second tip is to have a cover photo related to the field that you want to get into. For example, here I am with a couple of friends, and as you can see, laptops around. I'm into software engineering, and I think this communicates that. In your case, you don't need to have a photo like this. You can just create a simple photo yourself. If you are into software engineering as well, for example, you can create a photo on Canva that says eat, code, sleep, repeat. For example, it can be as simple as that. Next, have an intentional headline. For example, computer science student, aspiring software engineer. If you want to get into another field, you can just use aspiring whatever position that you want to get into that field. And to do that, you just need to click edit and you can do it right here, headline. Next, add an about section summarizing who you are, your skills, and what you're looking for. For example, I'm a computer science student with strong programming fundamentals looking for a software engineering internship. My technical background includes object-oriented programming, algorithms and data structures, and databases using MySQL. I want to get into software engineering because the idea of bringing designs to life using code is something that excites me. To do that, you can just edit the about section. And if you don't see an about section, you can try add profile section. Next is to have an education section. You are a student. Why not, right? And my tip here is to only include your GPA if it is above 3.5. If it is below 3.5, that's okay, but I just don't think it's going to be beneficial if you mention it. Next, if you have any certifications related to the field that you want to get into, please add those to the licenses and certifications section. Now, if you don't have any certification and you want to get some skills, you can go to FreeCodeCamp and you will see a list of certifications here. As you can see from the libraries, I did this one and it was really helpful. Or if you have some money to spend, you can also check certifications offered by Google. I completed a UX design one because I'm into front-end development and I think this is a good background to have. There is also this one offered by Meta, but you can also go to Udemy. And here you can also just do a course in the area that you want to get into and get a certification of completion for that as well. Next, we have the projects section. So here you can list your best projects. To add a project, you just need to click the plus and fill out the information over here. When adding a project, I recommend that you use strong verbs when describing it. For example, develop a multi-user goal management system, incorporated user authentication. So instead of incorporated, maybe I should use implemented as well. But I think you get the idea. It's just basically explaining what you did using strong verbs. Now, if you don't have any project to showcase, I recommend that you decide on the area that you want to get into, like say web development or mobile development, and start creating beginners projects in that area. If it is web development, you start learning HTML and just start creating projects using HTML. When you have 2, 3 and you have a good understanding of HTML, then you can learn some CSS, then you learn some JavaScript. The idea is that you start with something really simple and then you start creating more complex things. So to provide an example, I started with these simple projects that I created when I was a computer science student at Bronx Community College. Then I started learning web development on my own, and I created this simple project just using HTML and CSS. Next, we have skills. Now, don't just list all your skills and leave it at that. I recommend that you associate the skill with the source of how you develop it. For example, in this case, I'm listing Next.js, but it is associated with a project that I built using Next.js. And as you can see, you can associate a skill with courses, with any other section that you have on LinkedIn, really. Another thing that you can do to add more credibility to your skills is passing the LinkedIn assessments. If LinkedIn has an assessment for a particular skill that you're listing, I think you can take advantage of that. You can also ask for endorsements. If you have a couple of friends, they know that you know a specific skill, you can ask them to endorse you, and you can also endorse them back on skills that you know that they know. Next, we have courses. So you can add a courses section and list out all your computer science and math courses. If you already have taken a lot of computer science courses, I don't think you need the math courses, but it doesn't hurt to add them as well. Next, honors and awards. If you have any honors, you can also list that out. If you speak any other languages, add those as well. Next, we have the experience section. Obviously, you are a computer science student. You might not have a lot of relevant experience, but you can include the experience that you have, even if it is not related to technology. In my case, I have this experience here as a baseball player. A software company related to baseball reached out to me for a software engineering position because they like that I was a baseball player. Therefore, I think it's okay to include your non-technical experience. And the final tip that I'm going to share is that a profile with many connections is sort of like more appealing, isn't it? Therefore, I suggest that you send out 20 connection requests daily to people that are already working in the field that you want to get into. For example, let's say that you want to become a software engineer, you will type in software engineer people and then just hit the connect. There you go.